to another Average Angler video. We're at Acorn again, fishing at Acorn a lot recently because it's nice and easy for me. I've had to break the ice, you might be able to make it out on the camera here, so I've broken a nice slab of ice out from there to there. I've walked onto the island, I've slid my ice underneath the sheet of ice and everything's great, and then literally 5 minutes before the oil in, and this whole sheet of ice to my right is now drifting across the front of me, making it virtually unfishable my area. But we might just encourage that to come past us. I'm on peg 17, not a flyer, just an average peg here. It's not a bad peg, it's an average peg. There's 13 to 15 anglers on it today, I'd say, so a decent turnout for January and, you know, frost on the ground. I'm pretty much focusing on silvers today. So I'll only be fishing 4 carp if I haven't had a silver after 2 or 3 hours. Now the thing is here, a good silver's weight might be £8, so not looking for a lot of bites. Today's bait tray, maggots, pinkies, chopped maggots that is. Just literally chopped up some maggots. Everywhere else on the bank I think I'm chopping up worms that'll freak them out, start catching. And we've got a little bit of crushed expander over wetted to go with pellet. So we're going to have a pellet and expander line, which I found works here. It's very slow, but it does get skimmers only. And then we're going to put some of this in with a few maggots and or pinkies on the other lines and see if we can just catch anything. So down the middle is going to be a catch anything line with maggots, and then over the far bank, so in the middle here I've got like a down the middle line. I'm going to maybe loose feed maggots and fish maggots over the top or whatever. And I've got 2 longer lines where I'm going to put in on one of the lines I'm going to put in the pellets and see what happens. If I catch on it, then I'll fish it out and see what we go. And if I need to start up another line, I can, same depth. If it doesn't produce anything and I'm thinking this is not right, I can start up another maggot line over there and just see what we can pick up on the maggots. And it might be not until the last hour that we start to pick up some skimmers and bits and bobs. And I feel like I learnt a lesson from my last match up here where I was beat off the next peg by Martin Ray. He was on peg 1, I was on peg 2. We were neck and neck, and then the last sort of the last bit of the match, he just pulled away from me with some skimmers. But when he pulled his net out, I realised actually the difference between our 2 nets wasn't the skimmers, it was all the little bits and bobs he'd also had that weren't skimmers. So my pellet approach, whilst it's good for singling out skimmers, Acorn might not be the venue for doing that for the whole match. So there's a bit of a learning that I think I've had. It's going to be absolutely rock hard today, so I might get a bite, so all that might go out the window. And now I've completely got ice from one side of my swim to the other, and it's like less than a minute to the all in, so that's typical. But the edge of the ice is just here, so I'm going to get my pole and just try and encourage it through and see where we go. We're about just over half an hour in, literally just lost a small fish, probably a roach or a small skimmer. Just got it to the net and it pulled out, but never got to see it. So I've gone over onto my pellet line, and there's been no indications over there. I've dropped down the middle onto me maggot line. So I've just had that bite. After lifting a drop, I got a bite, so it's probably a roach. But that's fine. That's the whole point of this maggot line, was to pick up those roach and perch and other silvers. Could have been a perch actually, because they do come off quite easily. The fella to my right's already had 2 carp fishing over dobbin, but he's slowed down now. And the fella to my left has had 1 carp on the deck. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I've made a mistake here and we're sitting on a few carp in this straight, but it's all gone quiet again now, so probably just early mugfish that they've had. If I go over and try and dob, I might get some layer on, but I think I might work in my favour, because if I'm focusing on the silvers to start with, the carp might settle over. If they're going to settle somewhere, they might settle where there's been no pressure on them. Right, everyone. Just over an hour in. As soon as I Turned G's off, fishing down the middle on that line. Very next thing I did was hooked a skimmer, small one, and the swim went a bit quiet. So I went over to my far line where I am now, and the float went straight under, and I pricked a skimmer, bumped it, and then I couldn't get a bite over that line, so I've chopped it up, gone back down the middle, over my maggot line. The maggot line's gone quiet. So because my maggot line's gone quiet, I've topped it up and I've gone back out on this longer line. And I've just netted a skimmer. I've had a few bites on this line, I missed them. But then I've netted a skimmer there. So I thought I'll turn the cameras on, see if we can hook another one, because I had a couple of bites quickly on this line. So I'm hoping there's more than one there. Maybe I might just get indications off that one fish. It's not big skimmers. I mean, there's no big skimmers in this lake anyway, not really big ones, but sort of a pound skimmer's a good fish on here. That was, you know, he's probably the one I've had probably just half a pound, if that. So, you know, I've had a couple of them now, so I've probably got a pound of skimmers. I've probably got a pound of silvers now, but we're an hour in. So that rate puts me on £5, so I do need to catch a few more, but you'll get a spell at some point in the day if you just stick at it. And suddenly you'll get 3 or 4 skimmers and your weight will get boosted up, or you'll get on a perch or something. Float doesn't seem to want to sit right at the moment, so I'm just going to lay the rig back in again in case it's not, it's caught on something, or it's tangled or something. The float's sitting down a little bit more now than it has been. Doing it again. An indication on it straight away there. We're in. There's a few fish there, that's what's putting down a little bit. It's so sensitive, this rig. This is a pellet line. Has he fouled it? Or has he wrapped around? He's wrapped around. So that's the sort of size stamp again. That's 3 that we've had there. Yeah. That's nice. That's double, more than double our weight in the last 2 puts. That just spooks the rest of them. There we go this time. Tiny, tiny indications. I'm going to have to put some more bait out now. I can't believe it. There's some new skimmers there on the amount of bait I have. I'm just going to put a pinch of about 5 out. The better skimmers. These are the ones we want. Right guys, it's 10 to 1. So if we started at 10, that's 11, 12, 1, so it's nearly 3 hours, so we're past the halfway mark. I've just been over on my long pellet line. Very long, I've only got one pellet line, but it's a longer line of the 2. I had 3 skimmers off it and just topped it up. It's just gone quiet, and then this line got topped up before I went over there. So I'm going to go back on this line now. It's getting a bit tricky to fish this line because the wind is causing me havoc, so I've had to put some back shots on to try and keep the rig somewhere near where the bait went in. So obviously I'm fishing quite a tight, I'm fishing a very small amount of baits, quite tight. So down the middle, just for recapping, we've put finely chopped maggots, so we chop the maggots like a soup, and then we've put a pinch of ground bait in with the maggots, and then we've mixed that around to create like a stodge, and we've dropped that down the hole, it down for the maggot line. That's all we've fed. We've just this had 3 top-ups throughout the day, so it's almost like a top of an hour, so it's not very aggressive. And we've had 2 or 3 skimmers off this line, and a couple of perch and roach and some little eyeballs and bits and bobs. It's not produced a lot, but it's produced something. And then on the longer line, where we put the pellet, so over there we just put in the crushed expander with the micros. Fed expander over the top. Fished expander over the top. And I think we're on something like 6 or 7 skimmers from over there. So it's definitely been the better line. I'm hoping that's doing well in the silvers. It's hard to know. I can't see what everybody's catching because I can't focus on. I'll try and focus on my floats in this wind because it's so windy you can't tell when you get a bite now. It just takes someone to have had a couple of tench though, and it just wipes you out. But you can't account for that. And generally speaking, I mean, there's a chance of a tench on this swim, but there's not a chance of a lot of tench on this swim. Oh, it's probably going to be a tench now. I've said that right and cute. I hope it is. I think it's a skimmer, so I've swapped. Bugger. I was about to say I've swapped to a lighter setup down on this. I've swapped to a lighter elastic on this. That was a skimmer's pilot, I think. Swapped to a lighter elastic on this down the red line to keep bumping fish, but I'm not sure if I'm bumping them because they're off the bottom. Although that maggot does look quite chewed. Pinky, sorry. That's quite frustrating. So it's dropped on that. And that was me. Probably a chance of me getting a decent fish gone. Hook point's really good, so I can't understand why I'm pulling out of him. I'm slamming into him and pulling loads of elastic out, so the hook's definitely coming home. Maybe I'm just striking too hard. Yeah, so that's quite frustrating. There's probably 3, maybe 4 skimmers I've pulled out of today. I mean, at the end that's going to be massive. On the silvers weight, not in the overall carp weight. The overall carp weight will be irrelevant. The overall match weight is going to be totally totally irrelevant. But I'm not fishing for that today. I kind of set my stall out early. Not sure if that was the right thing to do or not. The guy on the peg to my right has caught carp steady all match on and off. But to my left also caught a few carp, so there's probably carp out there in front of me. So maybe I could have got myself into the frame off this peg for the fish for him. But it's not a renowned area for catching lots of carp, so I made my decision earlier that I'm going to try and get in the silvers frame today. So that's all you can do. You've got to make your decisions and go with them. I feel like in the past I've been guilty, and I will probably be again, of trying to do too many things, trying to edge your bets and do a bit of this and a bit of that and work it out as you go, but you just lose your way. Quite frustrated that I just left that. I think that was, the way that was nodding, it was a better skimmer. Felt like it was hooked in the mouth. It was sort of about, shaking it just like it would. Maybe I've just pulled out of it because it's so soft. Be a bit more careful, take my time. It's taking me ages to hook these fish. So I need to make sure when I hook one I get it out. I'm still going to put a weight on the 2 lines. I'm trying not to split my fish too much. I think that the skimmers might be having a bit of a feed, so I might be tempted to be a bit more aggressive on this down the middle line as the match wears on. It could prove catastrophic, so I could end up with carp or could just ruin the swim. Not be able to catch over it at all. A strange bite. Doesn't look like it's a big fish. It's a strange bite, almost like it was foul, like, you know, like the fish was off the bottom. I like it. Swam up. No, he's in the mouth. Strange bite that was. Certainly a bite nevertheless. I don't think he's as big as the one we lost. This is what we want. We want to be able to strap onto this line and make a couple of skimmers, 2, 3 skimmers, and then back out onto the other line. 2 or 3 skimmers, back out to this line, 2 or 3 skimmers, and just, you know, obviously you can see the bites, you have to wait for them. You're not getting bites every couple, you know. Talking 5 minutes minimum for a bite, maybe longer. They're there. Just skimmers, mate, I'm just fishing for silvers. Go on. You still catching? Catching over there. Sorry, a little bit of chit chat on the bank, but on the peg to my right stopped catching now. What was I saying? Yeah, trying to get a couple of free fish off each line is the ideal scenario. It don't always work that easy, obviously. We'll see what we can get. This is another skim bob out of that. All of a sudden this line's starting to be good. What's definitely noticeable is the skimmers down the middle are small on the pinky, and the ones down the overly far bank on the maggot. Now I don't know if that's location or hook bait. I don't know. Right, it's just under an hour left now. The last 20 minutes has been really quiet. Started up 2 new lines using the same 2 rigs. Gonna keep them far apart. Gone for a pellet line down the middle, which I'm going on now for the first time while I've got the cameras on. And then I've also put a maggot line up against the far bank, feeding the same baits that I've been catching on. I just want to see what fish are up tight on the maggot. Because when I fish maggot tight before, sometimes you'll get the big perch, and sometimes when I fish pellet down the middle you'll get the nice skimmers, so, or maybe even the tench. So have a look. I'm on it quite early just because my other 2 lines are just not producing a bite at all. I thought that was a bite. I've put a reasonable portion of ground bait and pellet down just to start a new line. What I've often found with this pellet fishing setup that I've been using recently is it's instant. And quite often your first run of fish can be your best. If you're struggling, you can just start a new line up and make a few fish. A couple of catches that skimmer off that line was worth doing, isn't it? Because it's a fish I ain't caught for 20 minutes, and all of a sudden I've got another 6 ounces in the bag. So that was worth it. I'm pretty happy with how things are going. I don't know if anybody else is fishing. Who's fishing for silvers is catching them. Quite pleased that I've gone for it today, and not even entertain the concept of a car, which is good mental discipline for me because I'm not good at that normally. Normally it's Normally I find it hard enough to at least have a go for a carp for an hour, but I'm, you know, looking at my silver results sometimes, and I'm always just out of the way, just off them. I'm thinking if I didn't mess about for that hour for the carp, I'd be on them. Obviously, if I'd have sat on a carp, what I felt was a carp peg, I might have fished the carp today. And I do feel like I could have caught carp today off this peg, because the guys either side of me have caught carp. One guy's caught the guy to my right's caught a good quality carp, but not so many as the guy to my left who's caught smaller pasties. They both caught well, but I think the guy to my right might have more weight because these fish are bigger. But ultimately, you know, if the guys to my right and left have got carp and their swims, I'll probably have got some in mine as well. But you see, then I would have got distracted. I've ended up having a carp match, which, you know, is fine, but you've got to make that decision at the start, like I say. So I had my instant skimmer and I can't get a bite. It's mad, isn't it? Straight in, the flick was straight under, you have one and you're thinking, right, I can have a few now. What's in there? You can't, you know, I kind of caught the only fish that was there. Making sense. Should be another one there. Another 2 or 3 there. Yeah, it's the other one. Such a gentle bite. Such a gentle bite, and these are slightly better skimmer, like I said. Sometimes it's pellet sort them out. I'm glad I kept the cameras rolling for that. I felt there was a chance of getting a skimmer there, and I thought better put the camera on. See if we can nibble that one. He's had it down a bit actually. Normally see the bite a bit earlier than that. Set up. Oh.